Maybe, like... Oh, hey Q, welcome. Maybe the entire notion of lectures is just wrong. Well, no, that can't be right. Hey Q, do you remember university? How long were your lectures? And how often did you fall asleep during them? Hey, we're missing stuff down here. Alright, let me... Some of it, says Wesley, says Q. One, two, three, four... One... Oops. Q says 50 minutes long. Never fell asleep because I love pure mathematics. Nice, 50 minutes. And you love the subject. 2, 3. So we were talking to Wesley. Wesley says that he used to have 4-hour lectures with breaks every hour. And approximately 100% of the students would fall asleep eventually. I also had about 50-minute long lectures, Q. And we were saying that, like, maybe that's about the limit of attention span for most people. Yeah, so the Europeans seem to do like much longer lectures. And I feel like it's counterproductive. And we were also talking about... Wesley says, although teacher would fall asleep during breaks. Q says maybe some of them were 2 hours long. Yeah, I had those too. So with the 2-hour lectures, Q, what I found was about after an hour and a half or so, I would start drifting off. Q says I keep on hearing 45 minutes is attention span average. That sounds about right, Q. 45 minute sounds about right. Like, it seems a little optimistic to think that a person can focus for 2 hours at a time. And I was also talking about video games, like how, for example, how long is the average Hearthstone game or Heroes of the Storm game, which maybe helps us understand what the attention span limit is for people. Alright, so let me go back and check the redstone. Q says, we do with gaming though at least 2 hours 20 minutes, I say. No, but it's not, what I was saying, Q, is that it's not 2 hours 20 minutes of the same thing. Right? Well, I mean, okay, here, I know here. And I guess there's a difference between lectures, which is learning, and this, which is mostly just doing stuff. mostly we're following the same pattern. So this is not like it's not hard creative work where you have to use your imagination. This should probably be like that. I don't know if I should be like checking everything or if I should just test it. Five minutes. How did we get to this topic, Wes? I forgot what we were talking about at the start. Why was this important? Oh, that's right. Like the amount of work people have to do today. People are... The trend is that people are having to work longer and longer hours. Q. Do you have any opinions or thoughts? As the economy is being skewed more and more to favor the wealthy and the CEOs, the ordinary workers are working longer and longer hours for less and less pay. That's right, Q. And I'm just thinking, like, that's probably counterproductive in the larger scale. Because if people have to do like 2 work shifts, like they have to work 2 jobs, you'd imagine that they'd be unable to focus for that long. Just physically unable to focus, and so they're not actually productive. Or they're not actually at full productivity, even though they work long hours. And so like squeezing your workers to get more hours out of them don't actually it's not necessarily true that your business would make more money that way. I haven't seen any errors yet. Maybe we didn't make any errors in the circuitry. I'm spending a lot of time checking redstone. Whereas, aren't the French considering reducing work hours? Do you know, Wesley? Some people are talking like 30-hour work weeks actually improve the output that people manage to do. Like improve, not that you know of. I seem to remember reading about it. Like people experimenting, like companies experimenting with reducing work hours. And that actually leads to better work results, especially with like creative work. I guess like architecture. And even software engineering, like anything creative, you actually get more productivity if people work fewer hours. Because I mean, imagine if you think a 4-hour lecture is bad. Imagine like a 4-hour programming session. It sounds insane. How would you do that? How would you focus on anything? As far as I can tell, the wires are... Wait a minute. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, no, that's fine. But Q was also saying that it's easy to measure the number of hours you work, right? It's very easy to measure. But it's very difficult to measure the quality of the creative work that you produce. Like, how do you even measure that? So then, Wesley says on the last station of this loop then, yeah. I'm still checking the... I still want to go back and just check. I'm gonna go back to the station, get on a minecart, and see where it takes me. What's the last one? Is it Confluence? Yeah. If it's Confluence, we need to think of a concept for the next station. So it's called Confluence because it's at the intersection of several biomes, and there's also like a few rivers at the same point. So it's at the confluence of multiple biomes and also several rivers. So conceptually, confluence just means a lot of stuff congregating at the same point. It's with like different things coming together. So the concept for the station is different things coming together. If you can figure that out. I'm gonna go to 3.5 to... let me just like... Oh, it is 3.5. Did I? Is that 3.5? This is 5, this is 3, okay, that's right. But it's gonna make for interesting architecture if we have to somehow architecturally think of different things coming together. Anyway, alright, good luck, Wesley. You have to come up with a design concept now. Q says, so some horrific mutated amalgam of a monster as a train station then. Yes, that's right, Q. Like a chimera. An architectural chimera. It sounds terrible. Maybe it's not a good idea. So maybe the station should have like multiple entrances in all directions. And everything should converge. A confluence of architectural styles. Maybe. Maybe. It's like a crossroads. Maybe different layers for entrances too. Says Q. There's a lot of possible styles, Q. I don't know if it's like we want like a contrast for the sake of contrast. Maybe like several different materials on each side, like one material or one type of material on each side, and then they come together to form one thing, one combined thing. 4, 3? How many biomes are there? Anyway, the train is arriving. As soon as the train arrives, I can see for myself. I'm just hoping I'm still going to 3.5. Is that still 5? Okay, that's still 5. Maybe it should be like a crater, and everything flows into the crater. Alright, here we are. So there's the village. Hi, Wesley. There's the village, so there's like plains here, mountains there, desert there. And then there's a river. Oh, and then there's savannah there. And the village is like right smack in the middle. With the river. Right in the middle of several biomes. Which is fascinating. But I'm not sure how that works for us. What to do? So, I mean, if we want to keep it mostly simple, there's desert on one side, plains on the other, and maybe a bit of river. Should we work with the water? What if there's a bit of a moat? What if there's a bit of a moat and then we have like sandstone. Sandstone on one side, plains on the other. Oh, Wesley's gone, he ran away. Sandstone on one side, plains. What's greener? Greenery on the other, and they kind of combine into a. We still haven't done the hanging gardens thing, have we? So the hanging gardens is a semi-mythological artificial mountain. Q says primary definition is two rivers of roughly equal size joining. Maybe create rivers. Yeah, so I was thinking, Q, maybe we should have some water here. I mean, there's a river here. So maybe we should like extend the river to surround the two sides. Although it's gonna be a bit strange here because the tracks are gonna be in the way. Are you familiar with the Hanging Gardens, Wesley? Let me look it up. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Let me images, Wikipedia, let me full screen. Oh, I can't see the full screen. Full screen broke, and I don't know why. Property.